Russian general was killed Monday morning after an explosive device planted under his car detonated in Moscow.
At least 16 of the Epstein files have disappeared from the US Justice Department's public webpage, including a photograph of Donald Trump. Australia has declared Sunday the 21st of December a day of reflection in honour of last week's Bondi Beach shooting victims.
A Russian general was killed Monday morning after an explosive device planted under his car detonated in Moscow. Lieutenant General Fanil Saravarov was the head of the Armed Forces Operational Training Department. Russia's investigative committee said an investigation is underway and that investigators are considering Ukraine as a possible culprit. Kyiv has not yet commented on the claims.
Следствием отрабатываются различные версии убийства. Одной из них является версия, связанная с организацией преступления украинскими спецслужбами. Ход расследования поставлен на контроль в Центральном аппарате Следственного комитета. Следствием будут назначены необходимые экспертизы, в том числе судебно-медицинская и взрывотехническая. Допрашиваются свидетели и очевидцы, изучаются камеры видеонаблюдения.
In December last year, another top Russian general, Igor Kirillov, was similarly killed after a device hidden in a scooter detonated outside of his apartment building. Ukraine has not taken responsibility for either of the two deaths.
Russian heavy overnight bombing over Ukraine has left at least 4 people killed in the past 24 hours and dozens injured after launching nearly 100 drones and 1 missile, according to Ukraine's Air Force. Out of the 97 drones launched, 75 were shot down. Meanwhile, 19 drones hit 8 locations. The bodies of 2 people were recovered on Saturday from the rubble after their building collapsed in the Kharkiv region town of Izium. 2 were also injured, according to its regional governor. Another person was killed and 4 were injured in the eastern region of Donetsk, authorities reported. Meanwhile, 7 people were injured in the region of Kherson as a result of Russian attacks. According to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Russia has launched about 1,300 drone attacks in the past week, with the region of Odessa being particularly badly hit.
At least 16 files have disappeared from the US Justice Department's public webpage for documents related to Jeffrey Epstein less than a day after they were posted. The missing files include images of paintings depicting naked women and a photograph of Donald Trump. The Justice Department has given no explanation why the files disappeared, but said in a post on X that, quote, photos and other materials will continue being reviewed and redacted consistent with the law. The missing files have fueled speculation about what was taken down and why the public was not notified. Some Democrats have pointed to a cover-up and insisted the American public needs transparency. So far, the tens of thousands of pages made public have offered little new insight into Epstein's crimes. Some of the most closely watched materials have been omitted, including FBI interviews with the victims and internal Justice Department memos on charging decisions. People have gathered at Sydney's Bondi Beach to commemorate the victims of last Sunday's mass shooting during a Jewish festival. A minute of silence was held at the exact time when the attack began 1 week ago today. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese wrote in multiple posts on the social media platform X that he stands with the Jewish community in what officials have called an anti-Semitic attack. The 21st of December has been made a national day of reflection by the federal and New South Wales state governments. Last Sunday, 2 gunmen opened fire at a Hanukkah celebration, killing 15 people and injuring dozens more. 13 of the wounded remain in hospitals, say authorities. Israel's cabinet has approved a proposal for 19 new Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank. This brings the total number of new settlements over the past few years to 69, and increases construction by nearly 50% during Benjamin Netanyahu's government. Settlements are widely considered illegal under international law and are seen by some as preventing a pathway to a Palestinian state.
Το νήμα της Κύπρου.
10 days before the start of the Cyprus presidency of the Council of the EU, the Cyprus government presented its logo and work program for the first half of 2026. The logo is inspired by the famous Lefkari embroidery in an attempt to underline tradition and consists of 27 digits representing the EU states. The motto of the Cyprus presidency, as the country's president has repeated many times, is for an autonomous union open to the world and is based on 5 pillars.
Πρώτος πυλώνας είναι η αυτονομία μέσα από την ασφάλεια, την άμυνα και την ετοιμότητα. Ο δεύτερος πυλώνας αφορά την αυτονομία μέσα από την ανταγωνιστικότητα. Ο τρίτος πυλώνας, μια ένωση ανοιχτή προς τον κόσμο, μια ένωση που είναι αυτόνομη. Ο τέταρτος πυλώνας αφορά μια αυτόνομη ένωση αξιών για όλους και ο πέμπτος πυλώνας, ένας προϋπολογισμός, ο οποίος πάντα χρειάζεται για να στηρίξει μια αυτόνομη Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση.
This is the second time Cyprus has taken over the presidency of the Council of the EU and comes at a critical juncture with the ongoing war in Ukraine and the geostrategic challenges for Europe.
Meteorologists might predict a snow-free Christmas in southern Finland, but that's not the case up north. As Finnish public broadcaster Yle reports, once again, Santa Claus has taken off from his headquarters in Korvatunturi, Lapland, to deliver a happy Christmas to all and presents to children who have been nice for the past 12 months. According to Yle, his sleigh is one of the most advanced technology and cannot be deterred by GPS spoofing or jamming or any AI-assisted malware. He can cross seas, oceans and mountains with no interference to his mission of true peace, love and understanding, Yle, who called themselves Santa's official TV station, added.
The EU's new entry-exit system is causing major delays at airports despite only covering 10% of eligible travelers, according to a new report. Visa-exempt visitors from countries such as the UK and the US must now submit biometric data at the kiosks, resulting in queues of up to 3 hours. The report, which was published by Airport Council International Europe, has found that processing times are up to 70% at peak periods in France, Germany, Italy and Spain. Outages, faulty kiosks and staff shortages have plagued the rollout since October. More airports will join by April 2026, with the threshold rising to 35% in January. ACI Director General Oliver Yankovic warns of severe congestion and safety hazards without urgent fixes.
So it's a really exciting time in Christmas trees. Drones are really getting to the point where we're actually going to be able to use them for a lot of stuff. And in the past 3 years, we've gone from just playing with the idea of maybe looking at drones to now we have some of our larger growers buying multiple, agricultural drones just because how effective they are in our fields.
They were hiring the labor who was going manually and count plants. Some of them are hiring people to measure the height, because based on the height they tell the price. And that process of scouting fields and counting fields, because they have in some big nurseries that we work with has more than 100,000 trees. So, measuring them and counting them would take them first a lot of labor and then a lot of time. They are now for sure how many of them are sold. Where they were, we can also give them the tree ID for each tree to track it. But the simplest test that we were doing, we were sending 3 people to count the same area, and all of 3 of them came back with the different results. And with our software, everything is digitalized, so they can see the fields from above and they can see the results because each tree is marked with a point, and determine the accuracy and exact condition.
A big part of that, again, is our incline. We have some Christmas tree fields at like 60, 70 degree slopes. And a lot of the kind of ground-based mowers cannot handle that kind of steep slope. So the ones that are just now coming out, are heavy-duty kind of tank tread-based flail mowers that can actually handle our inclines.